Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Level 1 News. Today is Friday, so we're doing security and then nonsense, favorite section. And today is June 25th, 2021.
I am flush with orange soda.
Oh yeah, try your new one.
I've got a little bit left because this is a big. This strikes me as like something to drink when you're working out, because it seems like it would really hydrate you.
You know what really works for that?
Water. Yeah.
Well, that's good. I like to space it out week after week. There's only so many orange sodas, folks. Although, I mean, it is amazing the variety that we've seen just from. I mean, we probably haven't even touched 5% of the market. Yeah. A lot of that stuff out there. Well, let's talk about some security and some problems. Last week, we heard about Volkswagen and Audi, and they had lost some data. And they were like, yeah, we lost it. We don't really know what happened to it. We'll know now. We found out.
Hackers are selling data stolen from Audi and Volkswagen. Hackers claim they found the data on millions of Audi customers on an unsecured server hosted on Microsoft's Azure cloud.
Mostly, it's just basic contact information. Sometimes it's financial information, and in the worst cases, driver's license numbers. Yeah, it's a bad one. You don't want somebody to have your driver's license number. Or at least you don't want the dark web to have it. And this one is maybe a little scary, since the other big headline this week is that they plan on automating everything and tracking everything about you in the drive-thru. Maybe this is a cautionary tale.
McDonald's hit by data breach. The hack exposed some U.S. business information customer data in South Korea and Taiwan. So most of the data was from McDonald's locations in South Korea and Taiwan. It was not properly secured, cloud server thing, that whole 9 yards. It's very basic personal information, but it could include some details about like what you used to pay for it, but I don't think it was credit cards or anything like that.
But some of it was also because of the delivery.
Yeah.
Some was your address and stuff, phone number, address for deliveries.
Womp womp.
So someone knows, somebody out there on the dark web knows that you ordered like $30 worth of McDonald's one day and got it shipped to your house.
That's like my levels of self-loathing.
It's also probably that 50-piece McNugget.
That's probably a lethal dose of sodium as well. This reminds me, in the Sopranos, there was the Meadows College was trying to get them to donate money because they knew they were rich. And Tony was like, Carmela, don't talk to me about extortion. I know extortion. Because he's in organized crime and... Well,
ransomware attack hit Teamsters in 2019, but they refused to pay. They worked with the FBI, and the FBI advised the union to, quote-unquote, just pay the ransom. According to sources, union officials chose not to, and they rebuilt their computer network instead. This seemed like it was going to be a feel-good story, but yeah, in the end, it was just like, this is like an episode of The Sopranos.
Not that I would ever accuse the Teamsters of being involved in organized crime.
Did that guy ever turn up? What was his name?
Hoffa?
Yeah.
No.
He never turned up.
We don't know where there's all the theories about where he's buried in like really public places. This one is echoes back to other things we've seen about encryption in the past, and it's terrifying. Because right now you think, well, we don't use this anymore, so what do we care? But we use stuff that was created in a similar fashion.
Bombshell report finds that phone network encryption was deliberately weakened. A new paper shows that 2 old encryption algorithms still used today in mobile networks can be exploited to spy on phones' internet traffic. Now, you should go read the story and everything is good here, but the implications of this extend far beyond this article. Think about other stuff that we covered earlier this week. There's the economic summit in Europe where it's like, hey, European companies, we shouldn't blackball American companies because blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, apparently there are algorithmic weaknesses here. Now, here's the really insane thing. This is literally what we are accusing Huawei of and, backdooring and making it very bad. What, Krista?
I just said,
Yeah, I mean, it's just... it's really insane. And now here's the other really insane thing. The OPM hack was because of a similar weakness. The elliptic curve encryption, which the RSA was allegedly paid $10 million to make the default algorithm, was weakened in a very similar way to these. Do we really need to connect the dots for you here? All of this blew up in our face. Yeah, it was probably, Russian or Chinese people, pointing out the hypocrisy of doing this with the OPM hack, because that was probably state sponsored, but we did this to ourselves.
So this wasn't a smoking gun per se, but these guys sort of simulated the creating other ones of these with random numbers, and they said that in 1 million tries, they simulated it 1 million times, they didn't get one anywhere near as weak as this one. So it seems like a lot of work went into finding the worst possible string to deliver here in order to cripple this, but to make it look like it was random.
It's the elliptic curve algorithm all over again. This is the same playbook since the 80s. And also, when they're like, oh my gosh, we need more access to your iPhones, it has the same kind of weaknesses, no doubt. It's not super easy, but it's not impossible. The encryption is not as strong as you think it is. It still requires a little bit of work to get into, not zero work. And that is how badly it can be exploited when it requires a little bit of work versus zero work. Dangerous times. I can't warn you enough.
But you're saying dangerous times. The dangerous times started in what, 2004?
Yeah.
Well, no one knew.
Some of that stuff, some of the OPM stuff goes back to like the 90s.
I'm talking about this in particular, though.
Oh, yeah.
And, I'm sure there was probably so much spying that went on there.
Yeah.
Props to them for never revealing it in a court case or anything like that. They held that close to their chest.
Yeah.
That was pure spying, right?
That was so much parallel construction. So much.
Or maybe they didn't even give it to law enforcement.
Yeah, could be.
Maybe just pure.
I mean, it's being used by the Five Eyes people for intelligence. I mean, that was Snowden's big leak. It's like, this is going on right now. We can spy on encrypted traffic. How are we spying on encrypted traffic? Well, the algorithm's weaker than a wet paper bag.
And ultimately, you have to trust a person at some point. And how can you trust certain people? And if you have a little blue octagon in your yard, you really have to think about who you're trusting.
Former Dallas-area ADT installer gets prison time for hacking into customers' home security feeds. Who's going to get prison time for introducing the weakness into the elliptic curve encryption? That is a far more serious crime.
The person who revealed it.
As evidenced by literally the global...
Everything.
Yeah.
So this guy, once they figured out the logs, he was watching all day long. And he had this was the whole story where they would go out, and if they found an attractive woman in the house while they were installing, they would add a little flag to that account, and they'd go back and investigate that.
Who has internal... I mean, I can understand having a security camera inside your house in like the entryway or like, on windows that are adjacent to your porch. But like, the area that you live in, you wouldn't have like cameras in the bathroom or like your bedroom and stuff.
Well, apparently, according to this story, apparently it's hot single moms who have those.
Yeah, they say they're in there. She's mentioned that they were in her bedroom and that this guy saw every commitment.
So, yeah, I mean, don't do that, but some people do. Southwest Airlines had a little bit of a problem, and as usual, well, I guess not as usual because we had the whole Boeing thing, but usually when this kind of thing happens, it's not always the planes. It's the ticketing system. The ticketing system is the problem there. Maybe we should build an airline ticketing system that isn't terrible.
What a level of masochism. That Southwest Airlines cancels 500 flights after a computer glitch grounds the fleet. This is from Reuters. So this is like 3 days of cancellations, ultimately.
And apparently there's a huge spike in air travel right now. Yeah. Because people are like, feel like it's okay again, I guess.
Ready to be done with this.
Yeah. I heard Southwest is like one of the better airlines. Is that true? I mean, obviously, maybe not now, but
it seems to come and go. Like some airlines that people loved 10 years ago have now fallen out of grace. So I don't know what's current. I'm sure there's YouTube channels that just do constant airline updates and take flights.
Right now, so Southwest is the best or Southwest is the worst.
Oh, Christy, your audio is really bad today. Can you maybe try to reposition yourself or something?
I'm literally right on top of the mic.
Yeah, it's not good. Maybe it'll get better. While we talk about Android messaging, they're a little bit late to this party.
A little bit late.
But they finally made it.
The Android Messages app now offers end-to-end encryption. Woo! But it's only available in one-on-one conversations. You can't do the group chat, can't do the Signal thing, and it's probably not super well implemented.
but it's there. Apple can't brag about that anymore. And I think you alluded to this in one of the previous episodes, and it is a terrifying reality. We're not there yet, but at the same time, how much research and how much technology exists here that the public's not aware of?
Yeah.
Because that's always how it happens with this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Reuters says, this is not science fiction, say scientists pushing for neuro-rights. Scientific advances from deep brain simulation to wearable scanners are making manipulation of the human mind increasingly possible. Remember blipverts? It only makes a small number of people's head explode when they see that, what if you could send somebody a sequence of radio waves or flashing images or whatever and make them crave orange soda? How long do you think before advertisers would exploit that?
Well, they kind of have that. I mean, they figured out how to control our emotions.
Yeah.
This is just a much more direct feed into the brain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrifying. That's the old tinfoil hat, right? The tinfoil hat is very valid in 2021.
Especially when Musk gets Neuralink. Like, how much would Unilever have to slip Musk in order to have him deploy a patch to revise some thinking on some products?
And we know that he has no qualms about manipulating markets and stuff like that. Like he'll do whatever he wants.
Just look at the power that I wield over the Doge.
Well, Christy, you brought up the California wildfires. It is that season. 'Tis the season to burn down California. And what can we do about it? Well, this is an adorable solution.
How an army of goats could help prevent California wildfires.
By eating everything that's combustible.
So this is a service, and we learned about the ducks recently. Remember the ducks?
Yeah.
There are people who have just giant swarms of ducks. They'll bring them to your property, and they'll go through and eat all the pests. The goats will do a similar thing, but it's the green stuff that they eat.
Yeah. They're apparently no substitute for chainsaws and like a crew going in to clean out all the stuff that could catch on fire. But the goats are much better at dealing with more inaccessible areas and things like that. So they're augmenting the human crude.
What if we augmented the goats with chainsaws?
I could get behind that.
Like one chainsaw leg.
Do you think we could ever get to the point with genetic manipulation where we could like just have them grow a chainsaw?
I hope not. That sounds terrifying. A chainsaw with actual teeth.
I mean, I think that ultimately, like, if we're not approaching the Great Filter, that might be one way that we could get past the Great Filter is like, what if we grow our own homes and things like that through just incredible genetic manipulation?
But then we get through the Great Filter and we meet the other guys and they're like, what have you done to these goats? You can't join the Federation.
You can't live inside a goat. What is wrong with you?
And I like the animal stories and I like to cluster them together. Let's talk about, Krista, you are a hiker and a person who does that type of thing. What is your plan for a bear encounter?
Make myself look bigger. I have a whistle on my backpack strap. And
Wrong.
This article says not to do that.
You are so wrong, Krista.
Is this out west? National Park Service once again tells tourists not to push their friends into bears. I never thought about that.
It says to back away slowly, and non-facetiously they tell you not to run away from bears while leaving your slower friends to deal with the bears.
So it turns out the bear probably doesn't want to attack you, but by rapidly fleeing, you could trigger a bear to chase you. And by pushing your friend down, your friend would no longer be the target. It's the moving target. So you actually could screw yourself by using the old joke about, I don't have to outrun the bear. Just have to outrun you.
Oh, it also is the bear, apparently they said, can detect overacting. So if you're playing dead too prematurely, the bear knows that.
Just thespians, the grizzlies.
And don't go into trees. Another big tip from them. Trees will not save you. Also, this is only for bears who aren't hungry. I think if you encounter a hungry bear, it's just prepare to die. Try to offer it your throat so it goes quick. You don't
This
want to be
came
eaten
from
alive.
Idaho as well. And Idaho is all grizzlies all the time.
And our final animal story, this is a certainly once in a lifetime event, maybe once in century, 2 centuries. Do we know, other than the Bible, that this had ever happened before?
No, I don't think so. Humpback whale gulps and spits out a Cape Cod lobsterman. His description of it was like, I didn't know what happened. I thought I was attacked by a shark, but then, he felt around and he's like, wait a minute, I'm inside a whale. So this must have all happened really quickly. But then the whale surfaced and coughed him up or blew him out or whatever. So he landed in the water.
No, I think it didn't come out the blowhole. I think it like popped up and like shook its head and just launched him.
Yeah. So
and messed up his knee in the process. Hell of a story.
He's going to continue to be a lobster man.
At like 44 or something. Or maybe it was in his 50s.
Maybe he'll transition over to gardening and then get upset when his vine dies.
And he has 2 boys, aged 12 and 15.
His vine, Krista?
You ever read the whole story in the Bible?
No, I have not.
When Jonah comes out, he gets mad because his vine dies.
Wow. Really looking a gift horse in the mouth there, isn't he? Or a gift whale. The FDA has had a little bit of contention among its people lately. I only bring it up because, that's in the news now. We have to make really serious decisions based on other people's ideas and beliefs, and we thought they agreed, but maybe not.
Third member of U.S. FDA advisory panel resigns over Alzheimer's drug approval. Now, so the article says it was unanimously approved except for one. It was almost unanimously approved. There was one person that voted against it.
This is not the approval panel. This is the advisory panel.
Okay.
So he's saying, I don't believe that you're listening to what we're telling you. We're telling you no.
And they approved it anyway.
And you went ahead and said, this is a lot of money.
Yeah. Very sad.
So he's out. He's going on to work someplace else. Maybe.
If money is influencing those decisions, I'm sure that that's illegal, but I'm sure that it won't be prosecuted.
Do you think there's any reality where it doesn't?
Only one of the multiverse is like, there's only like 1 or 2 in the multiverse that are possible to do that.
I read this headline and I thought, wow, this guy's a piece of garbage. He's just some old curmudgeon and he's making life miserable for everybody else. After reading the article, I'm 1,000% on his side. He did nothing wrong.
Die and go to heck. Although he said it was more colorful. Assistant Utah AG sends a fiery email after a candidate disturbs his nap. So Darren Mono said he was shocked to read Assistant Attorney General Stephen Worthrich's email after knocking on doors for his city council campaign. So he was just knocking on doors. It was a Saturday afternoon, and the Assistant Attorney General had a no soliciting sign. But if you're doing the political thing, that doesn't apply technically. So he was taking a nap. The dude knocked on the door, woke him up, and he was upset that he was woke up from his nap.
Which is ridiculous. No soliciting means no soliciting. No one wants political candidates at their home, especially not. I mean, you're really going to change the Assistant Attorney General's vote? Come on. So that's fine. And, this guy did just fell over himself apologizing and begging, please don't cancel me. Not because he did anything all that wrong. It's because this guy is LGBT and Asian. Uh-huh. And he immediately put those bullets in his gun and went to Twitter. And it wasn't about that. It was about him being an asshole and knocking on people's doors. It's never okay for anybody.
It's definitely the case that, like, if I'm not expecting company, why would I answer the door?
Yeah, and I don't know if he might not have answered the door, but he was asleep. Woke him up.
It is nice when I can sleep.
People can do things to your door without being inside of it that they should not be allowed to do. Especially not for political campaigning. Door-to-door political campaigning in 2021? No. Unacceptable. I love this story. This is, I guess, probably the most famous soccer player in the world right now.
Yeah.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
And he set a bit of a trend and other people started doing it. And as soon as that started happening,
they were like, no.
The alarm bells were, just ringing out at, well, I guess this is UEFA, which is different than FIFA.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
No.
Anyway, they have these press conferences. And as you can see in the picture, a lot of advertising at the press conference. You actually pay to get your products in there, which is why this cannot happen.
Euro 2020, Uefa warns teams could be fined if they move drinks at news conferences. So there was Coca-Cola. There were 2 bottles of Coca-Cola, and this particular star was like, no, don't drink that. Drink this. It's water. And he had his water bottle with him.
And that sparked some copycats. So there was a Muslim soccer player who took beer off the table.
He didn't make a big deal about it, though.
Heineken. Well, this guy, I don't think he did either. It was just sort of like, oh, hey, water. And then another guy did the water thing as well later on.
It's like, by the way, don't do that. Those are sponsors.
It is kind of funny how, like, oh, hey, little kids, if you want to grow up to be like Ronaldo, drink Coke. No. That's actually the opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah.
And he's being honest about it. Can't really blame him for that.
Yeah.
Although he gets a lot of that Coke money is going right in his pocket.
Right.
So, yeah, maybe a little hypocritical there. I don't know. Well, NFTs. I don't know if any of you noticed. Actually, I do. None of you did. We tried to launch a little NFT. I think that is a very important lesson in humility, and we should observe it as such. It's very good.
The artist actually is the one that suggested it, so. But it's fine.
Yeah, but it would be what moves that needle is our popularity.
Yeah.
And that needle is hitting right on the peg. Just going nowhere.
Well, a lot of the people, when I posted it on Twitter, they were like, we're not interested. Never do this.
I get it. I hope that this fails at the same rate. Please, God, let this fail at the same rate.
CNN announces it's going to auction news NFTs. A brand new vault is going to include some of the biggest moments of the past 40 years. There's a link to our NFT below.
Talk about an inexhaustible supply of nonsense. They can just go back to any headline in history and just generate money. What do you think the top ones would be?
Clinton. What is the definition of is?
But you're not going back far enough. Like, what about Hiroshima? That'd be a big one.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of absurd meme stuff that happened and less like Hiroshima type stuff.
Oh, I bet a lot. How about Kofefe?
That one's even more recent than what's the definition of is.
All the Trump stuff will be super popular for the anti-Trump people.
I want that picture of Mark Zuckerberg smothered in sunscreen. NFT.
I am sure that was a headline somewhere, right? How ironic that Trump will continue to generate revenue for CNN.
Oh, goodness.
And one thing about politics that we've seen more and more these days, because the copyright cabal, that Pandora's box has been opened up, and it works in both directions. So people like Trump, he had a situation like that, didn't he? Where he used somebody's music, and they were like, no, never use our music. But it's not just politicians anymore, because now people other than politicians are becoming so powerful.
Roger Waters burns down, quote unquote, powerful idiot Mark Zuckerberg's request to use song. So this is one of the last surviving members of Pink Floyd.
And the song is Brick in the Wall.
Yeah, well, they wanted to use the Brick in the Wall to advertise Instagram, I guess, because the Instagram stories are like another brick in the wall. And he's like, no. Are you insane? No.
I would definitely agree that Mark Zuckerberg's idea of how Americans should live and how they should behave definitely aligns with we don't need no education, because he doesn't want us to be educated. That's the last thing he wants. He wants you dumb and staring at that screen all day and buying stuff,
and also being generally unhappy.
Yes, that's very important.
Yeah,
jealous. You must be jealous of the fake lives that are happening around you. In Pakistan, we have an interesting story that has to do with police corruption, blatant police corruption.
Pakistan police detained 19 people after being denied free burgers at the Johnny and Jugnu, maybe? Jugnu. They was like, hey, we're police officers, you should give us burgers. And they said, nope. And then it turned into a big thing. And actually the police officers ended up being arrested only after it was, blatantly apparent that it was like a horrible corruption.
They spent 12 hours in custody?
Yeah.
Everybody in the store, and they were mostly young people, fast food workers. They just locked the store. So that hurt their business as well.
Yeah.
12 hours. Although the new ad campaign writes itself.
Freedom burgers.
Or,
fight the corruption.
Risk felonies for these delicious burgers. If I did that commercial, it'd be like the two cops, and it's like, oh man, we should get the burgers. It's good. Oh, I don't have any money. I don't either. And then they just draw their pistols. End of commercial. We knew this was coming, and the problem here, this is not something that's new. They've wanted to do this forever, obviously.
Yeah.
But think about Google health data.
Yep.
Tied in with this.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Biggest health insurer plans to deny ER bills if it doubts that you had an emergency. United Healthcare delayed the policy's rollout, but experts worry about a chilling effect. So the policy's been delayed, but basically it's like, that wasn't really an emergency. You didn't need to go to the ER for that.
And by law, they have to take care of you in an emergency room. But they're saying that, we looked at that. You having a toothache was not a reason to go to the ER. So we won't be paying any of that.
Or a kidney stone, or an anxiety attack that you mistook for a heart attack, or, anything like that.
I regret going to the ER for a kidney stone.
Well, but you didn't know what it was at the time.
I should have just suffered.
But you didn't know that at the time. And, expecting laymen to know every possible thing that could be going wrong with their body and then not getting medical care, that's ridiculous.
That's more of an assassination for the American healthcare system. That's like, if I expect any level of healthcare, I should just not.
Yeah.
The FCC, how much money did they earmark? Billions, right?
Yeah.
Billions of dollars for the whole subsidy thing so everybody can get broadband, even though, as we saw on that one map, it's not even available in most of the places that need it the worst. And as usual, they have built a system that is so bad, it's literally unusable.
Some people can't get the FCC subsidy because the word street isn't the same as ST period. The ISP's data must exactly match the FCC's, or application's data is rejected. Now, the FCC did provide helpful documentation on these edge cases would be a problem. This is not anything they didn't anticipate. And of course, the ISPs didn't bother to implement it, which was probably by design.
You think if you get rejected now and you resubmit after they fix it, are you still going to be rejected because it's already been flagged? It's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's going to be a Kafka-esque bureaucracy in an effort to get fewer and fewer people to take advantage of the program in the first place.
The housing market continues to be on fire and
insane.
We know about Canada, we know about California, we know about Texas, but I don't know if we knew about Sydney.
Yeah, this is surprising.
What a big jump in prices.
House with no kitchen or toilet in Sydney southeast sells for $4.705 million at a big auction weekend. So they had originally bought this house for $1 million in 2005.
Look at that palace.
And they had gutted it in order to renovate it. And they've started some renovation. I can see some drywall there. They're making some progress.
Looks better from the outside.
The person that bought it is going to tear this down and build something else.
But yeah,
wow.
That's $4 million.
I've heard this. I think that's why the tiny house movement is popular in Australia, because they're real estate.
But this is not even about the house. This is about the land. They don't care about the house. It's so hard to hear you, Chris. I don't know when you're done talking.
Sorry.
So, UFOs. We now have a date. June 25th. Oh, wait. That's this day.
Yeah.
So, by now, you all should have seen what these guys saw. The secrets should be revealed to you. You can go and look them up right now.
I'm sure we'll be talking about it next week.
Yeah.
Something is going on. UFOs threaten national security, U.S. politicians warn. Some members of Congress were given advanced details about the Pentagon report, which is scheduled to be released on or before the 25th of June. I'm not really confident in anything that Congress has to say because we had the one guy thinking the Forestry Service could help us with the orbit of the moon.
Some people are saying that was obviously he was being facetious.
I don't think so.
I don't know. But they did get a couple of quotes. So some people have seen this, and they didn't give any concrete details. I don't think they're allowed to, but they did say, here's a quote: "I did learn things that were certainly new to me," which could be almost anything for lawmakers, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Don't have long to wait. You guys don't have to wait at all.
One of the quotes there was also like, this is at least 50 years ahead of us, maybe 1,000 years ahead of us. But when some smart people saw the Wright brothers fly, they said it would be at least 100 years before that was useful.
They brought up Putin. They were like, what if this is just Russia? And one guy's quote was, if Putin had this, we'd all be dead. Now, a lot of people say that NFTs, it seems crazy that they're as popular as they are. And a lot of people just sort of smirk and they say, yeah, because it's money laundering. Because no one would actually buy this. It's stupid to buy this unless you just wanted to put money in somebody's pocket where it wouldn't be legal to do so otherwise.
Who wants to send money to Level 1 where it wouldn't be legal?
No one. No, we've learned no one.
Well, I'm enjoying this mighty bounty of alcohol and orange soda. Thank you very much again, Morgan.
In many ways, it's more exciting than just money.
Yeah, that's true.
But in one critical way, it's not. But anyway, I just bring that up because, some things could be used to launder money. I'm not saying that they are, but they could easily be.
Hunter Biden's art will soon hit the market for up to $500,000 per piece. That's according to his art broker. They're going to range from $75,000 to $500,000. And this is totally not anything that we should look really closely at.
Now, Krista, they've pointed out Hunter Biden has no training in these kind of paintings and has only been doing it for a couple of years.
He's a folk artist, self-taught.
$500,000.
What I was really disappointed by in this article, there were no photos of the painting.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter what they look like. That's the reason there's no photos.
That's horrifying.
That's not what that's for. I don't like the idea of breathing into my food with my nasty exhalations and then at the end of the day taking all of that little beautiful soup and just making a nice snack of it. I don't like that idea, but apparently some people do.
Japan has released the world's first edible and functional face mask. This is some sort of pineapple bread or something?
Melon bread.
Melon bread, yeah.
I don't know exactly what melon bread is. It looks tasty.
It's a foamy, breathable, apparently, food stuff.
Doesn't look comfortable, though.
Does not, no. Seems like something would grow in that, so you would have to make it fresh daily.
Oh, I don't think you're using it over and over. Oh. I mean, it is bread.
I feel like that would break your face out really bad after a day of wearing that.
Yeah, because there's going to be sugar in it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just a meme that we're not familiar with. Like that's a Japanese thing that's funny to them, and we don't get it.
I don't know.
That's ridiculous. And our final story.
This is a good one.
It would be so. I mean, the world would have. Some people would be horrified by it, but so many people would celebrate this. It would be such a fun moment for the world. And I'm going to say, take it one further. Do it in space. Can you imagine?
Petition urging Jeff Bezos to buy and eat the Mona Lisa gains steam. So really what's happening with all these UFOs is that they're just making a chronicle of what's going to, the events that are leading up to the Great Filter in hopes that other civilizations will survive. And this is going to be Exhibit A. It's like, well, one of the richest inhabitants of this planet bought the Mona Lisa and traveled to space to eat it.
Krista, do you know the dimensions of the Mona Lisa?
It's actually a lot smaller than you might think. If you've ever seen it at scale in the Louvre, it's not big.
I'm trying to think. The only times I've ever seen it is just on a blank wall. So I didn't ever get any scale. I guess people may be in front of it. But what do you think it is? Give me a guesstimate.
I mean, I've not seen it in person, so I can't say for certain. But just based on the images I've seen, it probably like 4 by 36, something like that. So not small, but not massive.
But isn't it also true that it's kind of thick? Like there's layers of paint on that.
You probably a lot of lead in that paint. Probably don't want to eat that.
Yeah, I would just forget the danger of eating it. Just getting through it.
Yeah, maybe just one bite.
No, you gotta eat the whole thing.
There was that guy that ate a 747.
Maybe you could share it. Maybe you could do a mukbang with all of your friends. And you could all have a little bit of deep fried Mona Lisa. Like the fried pickles.
The 100 billion meal.
I like the petition where they were like, please don't let him come back. Like, make him stay in space.
How are they going to stop him?
I guess with the petition, but...
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like there's a a checkpoint at the atmosphere. Papers, sir.
We're going to need to see your Vax card before we come back to Earth. Wait, what?
I think you should do it. Here's a picture. Still no scale.
It's just a random petition. Like, why is it even a thing?
Because it's funny.
It really seems like they fixed the colors in the Mona Lisa. Because I remember in a lot of our textbooks, it was sort of a dingy yellow.
Did they strip some layers off of it recently?
There's a whole industry about that for art history, about how you maintain and clean and do that kind of thing for old paintings. And even like when you photograph them, photographing them at different times of the day or with a different light kit can totally change how it looks. So it's really not a replacement for seeing it in person.
How about the fact that we've made it to the end of the news and all of a sudden crystal clear audio?
Oh, I'm trying to like really loudly speak, which might be coming across
so
weird
good right now.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. We really got to set up our own server for that.
Yeah. Some people have suggested, what was the name of it? I'm sure they'll suggest it again.
Yeah.
There'll be 18 different ones and we won't know which
I
one.
keep putting it off thinking it's like, oh, next week Chris will probably come back. And then it's like, and I haven't, like, this computer really needs a lot of upgrades and maintenance and stuff because things are way better in the software department. Like OBS is way better. And I haven't.
I need to do some artwork too for like the set. We need to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm trying to find a picture of it in scale. I can't find it.
Morgan again
Oh, thanks, Morgan.
for this
This is like a lot of stuff. It's very generous.
some buffet of drinks.
I got to put these in the fridge for next week.
What's that little jar? The little glass one.
This one?
No, it's on the other. It's in between the buy and that thing. What is that?
Noisemaker. Do not eat. And also, this Deep Eddy orange something. That's a shot of something.
This is just pennies in a glass jar.
Yeah. I don't. What were you thinking?
Oh, this is orange.
Yeah.
Is this alcoholic?
Mm-hmm. As far as I can tell.
Down
Crazy.
it. Chase it. It's Friday.
Crazy stuff we got going on here.
Maybe for the live stream.
Are we doing live?
Or for tonight sometime.
I'll be out.
Twitter. Chris is not gonna be here.
Yeah.
All right. Chris, give us
Anyway.
goodbye.
Bye.